slide at the moment? UIR 1113 Research Methodology, Topic 3 Methodology.
Yes, we can see, Doctor.
Okay, all right.
Yes, doctor.
Thank you. So before we start, I would like to start with a little bit introduction of my own profile. So I am Associate Professor Dr. Do Shu Ying, but it is okay if you just call me Doctor. It's all right, okay? And my contact number is 019-8129-298, and my email with the latest update, it will be UMPSA. So DOHSI, UMPSA at edu.my. And also I have 5 years working experience in the construction industry. And at the moment, now I'm serving in faculty with us, Faculty of Civil Engineering Technology. Okay, so that is my basic background. And my research basically focus more on concrete material, sustainable material, and I do a bit of project management as well. Okay, so I would like to open this time as well for me to know who are my students. Perhaps now you can introduce yourself, and at the same time, tell me what research you are actually doing at the moment, so that now I can give, so that when I can respond to you and also try to meet what is necessary, for your research. Okay, who shall start first? We start from man first. Ideal Akmal, introduce yourself and also which faculty you are from and what is the topic of your study. Ideal Akmal?
Hello.
Yeah, please introduce yourself, which faculty you are from, and also what research you are doing at the moment.
Okay, good morning. My name is Adi Akmal bin Abdul Rahim. I am from Faculty Civil Engineering Technology. So currently I'm doing a research on safety and health hazard,
Okay, all right, thank
high
you.
rise, high rise, high rise building.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
We have Muhammad Afnan.
Hello, good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name is Muhammad Afnan Hafiz Muhammad Taslim, and I'm from Faculty of Computing. My research is on image processing and more specifically on image watermarking.
Okay, okay, great.
Thank you.
Next we have ladies, right? The rest, we have Amira Rosli.
Good morning, Doctor.
Morning.
My name is Siti Amira from Faculty of Chemical and Process Engineering Technology. My research is on syngas production from methane reforming.
Okay, oh, that's complicated, right? Yeah, something very different compared to mine. We have thank you for sharing. Okay,
Okay.
Nur Nasuha, correct, right?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah.
Hello, Doctor. My name is Nursa binti Abdullah from Faculty of FTKKP, Faculty of Chemical Engineering.
Okay.
My research regarding synthesis of fibrous nanosilicon material to use as a catalyst in glycerol dry reforming.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds difficult to me as well.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we have next. No Shafika. No Shafika, yes, correct.
Hello, doctor.
Hello.
Is it me, No Shafika Shabimi?
Your
So,
faculty and also your faculty and also your research topic.
alright. So my name is No Shafika Shamimi binti Muhammad Zali. So I'm from the same faculty as doctor, faculty
Oh,
of
same
civil
faculty
engineering.
like mine. Okay.
Yes. And I'm doing research in pavement area, which is nano titanium modified pavement.
Okay, should be under Dr. Khairi, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think I know which one you are. Okay.
Because I think there are two Shafika, so that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Of course, now although we are same faculty, but now we are on the platform. Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, we have Nur Hasniza.
Good morning, Doctor.
Morning.
My name is Rasniza binti Muhammad Janhan. I am from Faculty of Industrial Sciences and Technology, and my research is about the study of polymer electrolyte for the application in lithium-ion battery.
Okay, so something to do with sciences, right?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, yeah. Anything to do with science is difficult for me. Chemistry, something that I never liked last time, yeah. And now also learning to like, but not very good at that as well. Okay, so we have No Shahira Kamarudin.
Good morning, Doctor.
Morning.
My name is Shahira. I'm from Faculty of Chemical and Process Engineering Technology. My
Okay.
my research is about synthesis of titanium dioxide supported on K61 for photodegradation of dibenzothiophene.
Whoa, from the name itself, no, it's really difficult for me. Okay.
Thank you,
So
Doctor.
yeah, later we'll share on how we are going to collect data and etc. So then you all can put input as well. Basically, how you are going to do it. So we have Nurul Fatiha.
Good morning, Doctor.
Morning.
My name is Nurul Fatia. I'm from Faculty
Okay.
specifically healing corrosion coating.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Okay. All right. We have the last and not the least and the least one Amnin. Okay. Yes.
Good morning, Doctor.
Yes.
My name is Wan Ini binti Wan Yahya. I'm from Faculty of Chemical Engineering, and currently I'm doing research about food packaging.
Okay, okay, great. So yeah, we need a lot of food packaging at the moment, especially the biodegradable one. I think you are doing one
Yes.
of it, right? Yeah, that's
Yes.
great. Yeah, because you want to reduce a lot of waste. No, after having post COVID, I think we generate more waste, no, than ever. So yeah, that's the part. Okay, that's good research. So before we move forward, now we are going to do a bit, for research methodology. Now we are going to cover, okay, for example, variables and also measurement. No, because in whatever fields of study, you may have, let's say for example, data. So what type of data you are going to generate, and how you are going to analyze your data, all those, we will share it here. Then we talk about validity and also reliability, in the sense that how do you know, okay, for example, the data that you collect, is valid and also reliable, especially, if let's say, we do lab testing. How do we know that what we actually got is correct or not? We have students doing image processing as well. Basically, I do have I do apply a little bit of image processing, using artificial neural network for my studies, during my masters. So and in terms of reliability, so in image processing, so sometimes we need to look upon that as well. And number four, we talk about research design. So there, you are going to talk about qualitative and also quantitative. So and in here we are going to explain a little bit what is quantitative and what is qualitative. Okay, to understand it better, so later now I will have a video to explain it to you. So I hope that will be helpful to you. And finally, the design of experiment. Okay, so in the first place, I believe that now you have completed your chapter one with your research objectives, your problem statement, research objective, etc. I think Dr. Saiful already covered it. Then we also in chapter two, you are going to have literature review that you have already studied. A lot of the past research, how they are doing it, how they collect data, different types of data, and then etc. So I believe that all that are already set. So first part we are going to start is now with variable and also measurement. Okay, variable and also measurement. So far, are you all doing okay?
Okay, doctor.
Yes,
Okay, all right.
doctor.
So, what is variable? Okay, variable is any kind of attributes or characteristic that you are trying to measure, or perhaps not to manipulate and control in statistic and also research. So, in the sense that basically, variable are things that may change. Just like, for example, the trend. How is the trend of food price after COVID? From my observation, basically, the trend actually increases. The price increases, and also what are the trends of online shopping? I believe that this the MCO and also the post-COVID, we prefer to shop more online, right? Compared to it changed basically the habit of what we are doing. So just like for example, last time I feel a bit skeptical, to buy things online. But however, I think it is a norm already. So sometimes I will just go up to Shopee, to search for certain things, look at the price, is it reasonable or not, get the comments, etc. So variables are basically any kind of attribute or characteristic that we are trying to measure. Just like for example, just now we have one student doing packaging. Okay, perhaps now you have some variable, whether in terms of durability or even in terms of biodegradability, whether in terms of, for example, ability, uh, to maintain heat, etc. So those things, may be important. Okay, in our research. So basically, whatever product that you want to do, you need to have a benchmark. What is the expectation of the market? Just like for example, now I'm producing no concrete. Okay, concrete, now using no waste material to produce concrete. So basically, we have to look into, for example, the durability, the mechanical properties, etc. Okay, which we have to benchmark according to what is needed in the market. So that's why whenever when we want to develop something, we need to know what are the variables that we may have. Okay, all studies analyze a variable which can describe a person, place, things, or idea. A variable's value can change between groups and over time. So there are different types of variable. For example, you have independent variable, dependent variable, quantitative variable, qualitative variable, intervening variable, moderating variable, extraneous variable, confounding variables, control variables, and composite variable. So basically for independent versus no dependent variables. So independent variables, we can define as a variable that stand alone and isn't changed by other variable or factors that are measured. Okay, that means it didn't change. For example, the age. Okay, other variables such as where someone lives, what they eat, or how much they exercise are not going to change their age. Okay, so that is what we call independent variable. That means it will not be affected or even be changed by that means for example, how fast I can run, it basically may have relationship with my age, but it will not change my age. Okay, I still maintain 4 series. Okay, and for dependent variable, is a variable that relies on and can be changed by other factors that are measured. So for example, a grade someone get on an exam depends on factor such as how much sleep they got and how long they studied. So perhaps when they do this research, maybe people who don't sleep enough may not do well in the examination. Now I'm the type of people that I don't do well if I don't sleep enough. If I don't eat and don't sleep enough, then I may not be able to do well for my exam because I can't focus if I'm too hungry. Okay, and I can't focus as well if I didn't sleep enough. And how long they study. Okay, so that now can affect as well. So meaning to say that the grade is dependent on how much they sleep and also how long they study. I mean, of course, no, this is dependent variables. Okay. Then we have identifying independent and also dependent variable. So ask if you control the variable. If you are in direct control over a variable, then it is a dependent variable because its value relies upon you and not the value of other variable in the study. So next, ask if the variable changes. So if the value of a variable changes anytime a different variable changes, so this is the sign that it is a dependent variable because its value relies upon changes to another variable. And lastly, identify through examination. So if you are still unsure, you can try adjusting a variable you have control over. If that causes a second variable to change, this is a dependent variable as its value responded not to changes in separate variable. So next now we have some example on academic study. Okay, so this one can be social science. An educator is interested in determining the effect of increased study time on academic performance of students. They conducted a survey of students at their university which asked students about the number of hours they spend studying for a class and the grades they receive in the class. So after compiling the data, the teacher discovered there is a direct correlation between the hours studied and the grades earned. They additionally note that the correlation is nonlinear, with a slow improvement of score in the beginning, followed by a steady increase until a high number of hours, at which point improvement slows again when the student reaches a knowledge level that create diminishing return on study. So this is the example that you can see that the result basically have very good relationship, direct correlation with the numbers of hours they study, but it actually slow down when the numbers of study slow increase at certain level, and it became not so good after that. So meaning to say that maybe it's too saturated already, so that's why they didn't do well. Okay, so then we have next now we have so academic study as well. So just now we talk about the numbers of hours the student studied is independent variable. The numbers of hours is independent variable, and because nothing directly affect the numbers of studies, and the grade of the students earned is basically variable because on it is dependent variable because it depends on the numbers of hours. Okay, how much time student commit in preparing the grade. So next now we have some study on ecology. So science can do this as well. A government agency handles environmental care in a city. In order to determine the effect of traffic patterns have on the air in the city, they perform a study that assesses car usage and air quality in city around the country. Okay, they learn that the quality of air in a location does not directly affect how much people are driving. And increased car traffic can lead to increased emission, which may lower air quality in an area. The agency completes their study and uses the correlation discovered when making suggestions on how city can improve traffic flows and raise air quality level within the city. So we talk about dependent and independent variable. So car usage is the independent variable because air quality doesn't affect the numbers of car on the road. Okay. And air quality reading are dependent variable because increase of traffic can lead to higher emission. Okay, so we'll go to another type of study. So this is on marketing study. So in order to improve the quality of future marketing effort, a marketing company is interested in determining how effective their campaign is with different age group. Using analytics provided by the social media platform they advertise on, the company assesses the data broken down by age of the respondent. They compile the information into a chart that lists the response rate for age bracket comprising 10 years span. So when examining the data, the company discovered that its current campaign is most effective now with the middle-aged consumer. Okay, they just they adjust targeting on the advertisement to focus on this group and begin work on new campaign aimed at younger and also older audience in order to optimize their spending. So from the perspective of dependent and independent variable, the age of respondent is the independent variable because it doesn't affect how likely someone is to click on a link. And the response rate for each age group are a dependent variable that relies on the age of the user. So next, now we move on to medical. So medical part, this one can be sciences. So a pharmaceutical company is developing a medical treatment and performing trials in order to determine its effectiveness and potential side effect. They conduct trials that test different dosage on patients recovering a broad range of age and demographic and records the results which they compile into group of data. So the study allows the pharmaceutical company to determine the ideal dosage size and identify any potential risk group who should not use the medication or group where the medication is especially effective. So the independent variable include no size of dosage because the size of dosage basically we fix it because that will be dependent information for the side effect. Okay, so independent variable includes the size of dosage for patient and also demographic group. The study breaks patient into. Then the dependent variables are the rates of occurrence for any side effect that the effective result of the medication. Okay, so we have scientific study. So a scientist now researching the effect of a particular element in soil on the plant growing in it may conduct a study in a controlled setting by planting the same seeds in soil mixture with different nutrient level. Okay, so just like for example, for some of the students, you are doing experimental and you may mix, for example, like my students, mix different percentage of eggshell powder into the concrete mix. So then scientists then track growth in each of the experimental composition to determine the ideal level. While the scientists can control the nutrient level themselves, plant growth doesn't change the soil composition, and the rates of plant, however, changes based on the type of soil. okay, of seed grown. So these are the some. I think most of us here basically we may use, for example, different type of chemical, or perhaps if you do image processing, you may use different type of method. So how to see how effective, okay, or maybe how accurate your studies are. So therefore on this aspect, perhaps we can if we are able to identify what are the dependent and what are the independent variables, so it will be easier for us to move on with our studies. So the independent variable is the nutrient level. That means we fix the nutrient level at different level for different what we call design, okay, in the soil, because how well plant group in them doesn't change the soil composition and the rate of growth. Yeah, basically because it depends on the different type of soil the seed grow. So basically that is what we call dependent variable. Okay, so next now we move on to quantitative versus qualitative variable. So the definition for qualitative variable is any sets of data that involve numbers and amount. Sorry, I think I typed wrongly here. Let me make it correct. This is quantitative, yeah. Okay, quantitative data. So quantitative data basically, it is any data set that involve numbers or amount. Just like for example, like my students did concrete compression test. So when we do compression test, you will get, for example, how many megapascal, or for example, you will get, for example, we use compression machine, so we will get the data in kilonewton. Okay, then we convert it into megapascal. Okay, so you get numbers. So if you get numbers, then it is considered quantitative variables. Okay, for example, we have height, distance, or numbers, and also some items. Okay, so for qualitative data, so there are non-numerical value or grouping. Just like for example, how do you feel about UMP? Yeah, you don't need to answer me, okay? So anything dealing with, for example, feeling, anything deal with level of satisfaction, anything deal with mood, etc. Those are unable to be measured. So according to numbers, so perhaps you may not it's difficult for you. Okay, for example, the eye color. So eye color, the tone is very different. But however, there are some qualitative data you can actually use quantitative method to collect it. Just like for example, from 1 to 10, how much you love about UMP. Okay, so this is although it should be qualitative, but however you use a numbering system, or we call it a certain scale to measure it. So depending on how you want to do it. Okay, so for qualitative data, so there are different type of data. For example, we have eyes color or satisfaction level, and the types of data can be binary, nominal, and also ordinal. Okay, so next now we move on to a bit more on quantitative data. Is the data that is the form of numerical value. So since each value is the data set, has a numerical value, this allows you to perform mathematical calculation. Okay, for example, how much, how many, and how often. Okay, so basically, if we call it quantitative data, you can actually use, for example, statistical method to do it, or maybe there are many different type of processing method as well. Okay, so different types now of quantitative data. So it includes now, for example, counter, measurement, projection, sensory measurement, numerical representation of qualitative data. Just now, like what I said just now, numerical representative of qualitative data can be, for example, 1 to 10, how much do you love UMP? Okay, so this is the example of numerical representation of qualitative data. So what is counter? Counter are when you tally the number of something within a given area. Okay, just like for example, you want to measure how many people praying in the mosque on Friday in UMP. So basically you use the tally machine to calculate how many numbers. So it often one of the easiest type of quantitative data to acquire, as it may not require any tools. For example, number of people in a room or the number of grapes in a bowl. So basically you can just calculate 1, 2, 3, 4 until the number that, then from there then you record. Okay, another type of measurement we call measurement is something also provide you with quantitative data. This includes if you are measuring an object physical. Okay, for example, like uh, you can measure how fast a person run. So this is speed. You can measure the temperature of people who have COVID. So this is temperature. Can measure the height, and you can measure the distance as well. Okay, so uh, I think we measure a lot now with this measurement. Okay, then we have projection. So a projection is when you make an estimate about future counts of measurement based on preceding no data. Okay, so for example, if you have a plant that is 12 inches tall, after 4 weeks, you may project that it will grow. No, in 5 weeks, it's going to be 15 inches. Even though you don't have the actual information yet, but you can perform calculation using, for example, projection. Okay, to do the calculation. Okay. Then you have sensory measurement. Sensory measurement that you represent with numerical measurement on quantitative data. For example, you can measure the decibel, okay, to determine the loudness. You can measure the heat of a house. So another example is digital camera using sensor to convert electromagnetic information into numerical data. Okay, for example, there are many different types of sensors that we have. Then we have numerical representation of qualitative data. So sometimes in order to perform mathematical operation with qualitative data, you may want to assign numerical value. Now some of the example are Likert scale, okay, 1 to 5. Then you can have, there are many different types. So for example, you may ask a customer to rate your product on a scale. For example, 1 to 5 or maybe 1 to 10. Okay, how much do you like about the food? You scale 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. So depending on what you are using. Okay, so while a person's opinion isn't numerical, assigning a numerical value is to allow you to perform the task, okay, such as finding the average opinion of the product. So what sometimes Shopee actually asks you to do is basically using numerical representation. So after you buy the product, then they ask you about, for example, the delivery, the quality of the product. They ask you to give comments. So those are the example of numerical representation of quality data. Okay, so what are the benefits of using quantitative analysis? So number one, objective insight. So quantitative analysis require a neutral perspective when gathering research data, giving you more objective facts onto which you can base your analysis. Objectivity can help you determine which step to step next during any process. And after that, besides that, no, it is also a fast research. Okay, research team can streamline their research process through databases or relevant software. You can also create data creating program that work for all project instead of just one. That means you can do one and it can be used in all the other projects as well. Then neutral data calculation. So some quantitative data analysis, data software randomize the data input to maintain objectivity. So in that situation, researcher can focus on other aspect of their project instead of devising their own system of analysis. And repeatable result. So in the sense that you can repeat the same procedure to see the same result appear. Meaning to say that if you repeat, just like for example, if we in when we are doing our concrete mix, so if we use the same material, use the same method, same amount of what we call uh, independent variable, then the result should be almost the same. That means you can duplicate repeatable result. Okay, so you can use this result to promote a service or improve an existing system. Okay, benefit of using quantitative data analysis. So wide range of participants. So a quantitative data often requires less personal information, and you can use remote tactics to get it. For example, you can use phone conversation. You can do online survey, or perhaps you can use online survey can come in many form. You can use monkey drive, you can use Google Drive, etc. Okay, so Google document, or sending it through emails. Okay, so quantitative data collection, so you can have experiments. So experiments, I believe that most of you know in the group here, you use quantitative data collection. Okay, so basically we can use experiment. So research team design highly controlled scientific experiment to test a formal hypothesis. So they use the data from these tasks to find statistical information and determine a conclusion. So besides that, or you can do survey, just like for example, my project management, construction project management students do research survey. So you can develop quantitative survey by asking a series of specific questions with a preset list of answers. So like multiple choice question, this can be helpful method if you want a wider selection of participants. So means that if survey, you can send to different people in the different grouping or maybe different location with the same questionnaires or question you have. So next we have controlled observation. So controlled observation, basically, research can observe participants doing an activity or task in an environment they control to note numerical data. For instance, for example, a researcher may count how often a person check the time on their phone. Okay, just like for example, in my class, sometimes now I can observe face-to-face class how much time the students checking on the phone, or sometimes some students may just be checking on the phone all the time. Okay, I'm not sure why they are so busy. Okay, so after finish the quantitative data, so now we move on to the qualitative data. So qualitative analysis help data analysts interpret the thought and subjective experience of a particular group or particular situation. Okay, researchers typically use this method to discover why a group of people have a particular opinion and experience life in a certain way by studying their motivation, emotion, and also behavior. Okay, for this reason, qualitative analysis usually involves written description rather than numerical information. Just like for example, I have been to I've attended a course, okay, on uh, human behavior, okay, especially when I was working in the academic line, in other universities previously. So we will send, okay, to hospital Bahagia, okay, this Tanjung Rambutan. Okay, if you are Malaysian, I think you should know what Tanjung Rambutan is. Okay, so basically what we will be doing there, basically uh we will mix with the what we call those patients. Those are very safe patients. Okay, those patients who are under stress. That means those who study too hard and they feel stressed, or those who work and they get stressed and they have some disorder, okay, or maybe emotional disorder, or even some behavior. So basically, what our training, on the first day, basically we didn't know that the person that we talked to on the first day are those what we call stress patient. Okay, we talk to them and they react quite normally to us, and some of them who admitted that basically uh, they they feel stressed because they can't get, for example, straight A's, like 10 A's, they only get 9, then they cannot take it. Then I mean, some of these issues, psychological issues. So that's why counseling may be required. So if you are doing qualitative data, then you may need to describe more than the numerical information. Okay, so what are the qualitative data collection method that you can consider? For example, focus group. So the research team select a group of people to ask questions about the research topic. So and they appoint a moderator to guide the group through the process to enhance the quality of the data. The second method of qualitative data collection, so you can do it through interview. Okay, so through interview doesn't mean that you got no question. Okay, you it is considered unstructured, so the research team can learn in depth information. So in the sense that you need to have some idea, okay, what you wanted to ask. Doesn't mean that you go there, then you ask one question, and you let the person talk and talk and talk. No, although it's not structured, but no, you need the person to talk something related to your study. Okay, or else no, some people may get diverted to another thing, and they will tell a lot of information where basically you may not need. Okay, so interview basically are unstructured, so the research team can learn in-depth information about the subject point of view and the research topic. So they compare interview to see who shares the same perspective. Then we have third one, okay, uncontrolled observation. So the research team observe the subject in their environment to see how they react or respond to it. Depending on the type of observation, you can interact with the subject and become part of the environment. Okay, so now we move on to the benefits of qualitative analysis. So the qualitative analysis basically, it is more in depth. So it provides more information. Okay, let me hold on for a while. I would like to let someone to join first. Yeah, I think. Okay, so we continue with benefits of using qualitative analysis. So it provides more information about participants. So and qualitative analysis often involve interpreting patterns of thoughts and changes in attitude. So you can use the data to receive more precise knowledge about a group of people, including a client base. So and also it give no process no improvement. So you can usually use qualitative analysis to study the impact of a particular process. For example, marketing campaign. For example, perhaps no, uh, I mean, in the sense that no some event of management, no, and etc. To see if you want to make adjustment, no, to it in the future. For example, for industrial process as well, so that no can be done. So besides that, no, it is also a flexible technique. So qualitative research often requires some adaptation to ensure that no research protocol are effective. For example, researcher can adapt no, a research question to better reflect their experience and responses no, of studies participants. So targeted insight. So as qualitative research is often comprehensive, you can learn a lot of meaningful information through smaller group of people. So this can optimize the cost and also data collection. So in the sense that if let's say your respondents is quite limited, then it will be more beneficial, okay, to do it in a smaller group. And lastly, multiple points of view. People often represent information that could fit multiple categories. So qualitative analysis allow researcher to perceive complex and nuanced perspective and determine how they form an overarching explanation. So next now we'll talk about intervening and also moderating variable. So what is intervening variable? Basically, it can be defined as a theoretical variable used to explain a cause or connection between other study variables. So for example, access to healthcare. Okay, if wealth is the dependent variable and a lifespan is the dependent variable, a researcher might hypothesize that access to quality healthcare is intervening variable that links wealth and also lifespan. Then we have another type we call moderating variable. So it changes the relationship between dependent and independent variable by strengthening or weakening the intervening variables effect. For example, age. If a study looked at the relationship between economic status, which is independent variable, and how frequently people get physical examination from a doctor, which is dependent variable, age is a moderating variable. So the relationship might be weaker in younger individual and stronger in older individuals. So we have a few more extraneous variable. So it is extraneous variable is factors that affect the dependent variable but that the researcher did not originally consider when designing the experiment. For example, okay, parental support, prior knowledge of foreign language, or social economic status are extraneous variable that could influence a study assessing whether private tutoring or online courses are more effective in improving students' Spanish test scores. And confounding variable, extra variable that the researcher did not account for that can disguise another variable effect and show false correlation. That in a study of whether a particular genre of movie affect how much candy kids eat. With experiment I have 9 noon to and 3 p.m. Time could be confounding variable as the group in the noon time might be hungrier than therefore than those in the noon because therefore uh yeah, because it is lunchtime, so therefore that can be that's it. Next now we have composite and also variable sorry, control and composite variable. So composite and control variable. So composite control variable basically characterize that are constant and do not change during a study. So in experiment about plant development, control variable might include the amount of fertilizer and water each plant gets. These amount always the same so that they do not affect the plant growth. And for composite variable are two or more variables combined to make a more complex variable. Okay, so for example, overall health is the example of a composite variable if a researcher uses their variables such as genetic, medical care, education, quality of environment, and chosen behavior to determine overall health in an experiment. Okay, so I have finished now the parts on variable. Any question so far? No question? So if no questions, then I will just play a video on qualitative and also quantitative, what we call qualitative and also quantitative data. Then from there, then we will just call it a day. Is that okay?
Okay, Doctor.
All right.
Now we're going to explore quality.
Can you hear the video?
Yes, we can hear, Doctor.
All right, sure. Thank you.
Quantitative, and mixed methods research methodologies. We will also explain how to choose the right methodological approach for your dissertation, thesis, or research project, step by step. So grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea, whatever works for you, and let's jump into it. Hey, welcome to Grad Coach TV, where we demystify and simplify the oftentimes intimidating world of academic research. My name's Emma, and today we're going to have a look at the 3 types of research: qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods, and how to choose the right approach. We'll look at things from a fairly high level and won't go into the weeds in terms of specific data analysis methods. If you want to learn about particular analysis methods, we've got separate videos covering both qualitative and quantitative methods. I'll include the links to those below. If you're new to Grad Coach TV, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos covering all things research related. Also, if you're looking for hands-on help with your research, check out our one-on-one coaching services, where we help you craft your research project step by step. It's like having a friendly professor in your pocket whenever you need it. If that sounds interesting to you, you can learn more and book a free consultation at www.gradcoach.com. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into it. If you're new to the wonderful world of research, some of the first lingo you'll likely hear thrown around are the terms qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods research. But what exactly are these? Well, simply put, qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods reflect the 3 types of research that you can undertake. These aren't specific data collection or analysis techniques, but instead they reflect the broader research strategies that will influence which data collection and analysis techniques you can adopt. For example, if you undertake quantitative research, you'll oftentimes use surveys as your data collection method and statistical analysis as your data analysis technique. In other words, qual, quant, and mixed methods are overarching strategies, not specific techniques or methods. Anyhow, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a step back and unpack each of the 3 types of research piece by piece. First up, let's look at qualitative and quantitative research. At the most basic level, qualitative research utilizes data that's not numbers-based. In other words, qualitative research focuses on words, concepts, perceptions, or ideas. In contrast with this, quantitative research makes use of numbers and statistics. That's a very simplistic explanation though, as it's just considering the type of data each one uses. So let's dig a little deeper. Qualitative research is used to investigate the softer side of things. For example, to explore and understand people's perceptions, ideas, or feelings. Therefore, it is more subjective in nature. Qualitative research is often used to gain a deeper understanding of the complexity of a situation, to draw a rich picture of what's going on, especially what's going on under the hood. Therefore, qualitative data can be used to develop hypotheses and theories from the ground up. In other words, an inductive approach. For example, you could use a qualitative approach to explore what factors or product attributes customers consider when deciding which laundry detergent to purchase. This could involve undertaking interviews and focus group sessions to get people talking about their ideas, perceptions, and feelings regarding laundry detergent. Contrasted to this, quantitative research focuses on the hard numbers. Typically, quantitative research is used to measure differences between groups and/or relationships between variables, as well as to test hypotheses. Therefore, it is more objective in nature and takes a deductive approach. For example, you could use a quantitative approach to measure what percentage of people prioritize price or any other variable when choosing a laundry detergent. You could also assess how this percentage varies between neighborhoods, cities, or different demographic groups. So, as you can see, qualitative and quantitative approaches can both be used to research different aspects of the same topic or area of interest. Right, moving on to mixed methods. Mixed methods-based research, as you'd expect, attempts to bring these two types of research together, drawing on both qualitative and quantitative data. Quite often, mixed methods-based studies will use qualitative research to explore a situation and develop a set of hypotheses. Then, once those hypotheses are established, they'll use quantitative methods to test them. It can also work the other way around. For example, they could use a quantitative approach to get a view of the bigger picture, the what, and then use qualitative methods to explore the underlying reasons, the why, for a specific trend or observation in the quantitative data. So as you can see, while qualitative and quantitative research are distinctly different, they're not at odds with each other. It's not a competition of qualitative versus quantitative, where one is better than the other. On the contrary, they can be used together, in other words, mixed methods, to develop a high-quality piece of research. Of course, this is easier said than done, so we usually recommend that first-time researchers stick to a mono-method approach, either qual or quant, unless the nature of their study genuinely warrants a mixed methods approach. The key takeaway here is that it's important to understand that each research type has a different purpose. For example, to explore and understand situations, qualitative, to test and measure, quantitative, or to do both, mixed methods. They're not simply interchangeable tools for the same job. Each approach has its purpose. Right, with that out of the way, let's look at how you can go about choosing the right methodological approach for your research. If you're undertaking a dissertation, thesis, or research project, chances are you'll need to craft a comprehensive research design and methodology. This is not a task to be taken lightly, as you'll need to clearly and strongly justify every design choice you make. To choose the right approach, you'll need to consider 3 important factors. Based on these factors, you can select your overarching approach: qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods. Once you've made that decision, you can flesh out the finer details of your research methodology, such as the sampling strategy, data collection methods, and analysis techniques. We won't cover the latter in this video, but you can find loads of information over on the Grad Coach blog. I'll include the link below. The three factors you need to carefully consider are 1. The nature of your research aims and research questions. 2. The methodological approaches taken in the existing literature. And 3. Practicalities and constraints. Let's take a look at each of these. Factor number 1, the nature of your research. As I mentioned earlier, each type of research, whether qualitative, quantitative, or mixed, has a different purpose and helps address a different type of question. So it's logical that the key deciding factor in terms of which approach you adopt is the nature of your research aims and research questions. But what types of research aims exist? Broadly speaking, research aims can fall into one of three categories. Exploratory, in other words, getting a better understanding of an issue and potentially developing a theory or set of hypotheses regarding it. Confirmatory, in other words, confirming a potential theory or hypothesis by testing it empirically, a mix of both. For example, developing a set of hypotheses and then testing them. So what does this mean for you? Well, as a rule of thumb, exploratory research tends to adopt a qualitative approach, whereas confirmatory research tends to use a quantitative approach. This isn't set in stone, but it is a reliable heuristic. Naturally then, research that combines a mix of both or is seeking to develop a theory from the ground up and then test that theory would utilize a mixed methods approach. Let's take a look at an example in action. If your research aims were to understand the perspectives of war veterans regarding certain political matters, you'd likely adopt a qualitative methodology, making use of interviews to collect data and one or more qualitative analysis methods to make sense of the data. If, on the other hand, your research aims to assess the distribution of left versus right-leaning veterans per state, or compare the political leanings between vets and non-vets, you'd adopt a quantitative methodology, using numbers-based data from a survey to address your research aims. So the first and most important thing you need to consider when deciding which methodological approach to use is the nature of your research aims and research questions. Specifically, you need to assess whether your research is exploratory or confirmatory in nature, or involves a mix of both. The importance of achieving solid alignment between these three factors and your methodology can't be overstated. If they're misaligned, you're going to be forcing a square peg into a round hole. You'll be using the wrong tool for the job, and your research will become a disjointed mess. A quick tip: if your research involves a mix of both exploratory and confirmatory aims, but you have a tight word count limit, you may want to consider trimming down the scope a little and focusing on one or the other. A mono-method approach executed well has a far better chance of earning marks than a poorly executed mixed methods approach. So don't try to be a hero unless there are strong reasons to take a mixed method approach. Right, let's look at the next factor. Factor number 2, the disciplinary norms. Choosing the right approach for your research also involves looking at the approaches used by other researchers in the field and studies with similar research aims and objectives to yours. Oftentimes, within a discipline, there is a commonly accepted methodological approach, or set of approaches, used in studies. While this doesn't mean you should just follow the herd simply because, you should at least consider these approaches and evaluate their merit within your context. A major benefit of reviewing the research methodologies used by similar studies in your field is that you can often piggyback on the data collection techniques that other, more experienced researchers have developed. For example, if you're undertaking a quantitative study, you can often find tried and tested survey scales with high Cronbach's alphas. These are usually in the appendices of journal articles, so you don't even have to contact the original authors. By using these scales, you'll save a lot of time and ensure that your study stands on the proverbial shoulders of giants by using high-quality measurement instruments. Of course, when reviewing existing literature, keep point number one front of mind. In other words, your methodology needs to align with your research aims and research questions. Don't fall into the trap of adopting the methodological norm of other studies just because it's popular. All right, now let's look at the last factor. Factor number 3, practicalities. When choosing a research methodology, there will always be a tension between doing what's theoretically best, in other words, the most scientifically rigorous research design, and doing what's practical given your constraints. This is the nature of research, and there are always trade-offs, as with anything else. But what constraints, you ask? Well, there are a few. When you evaluate your methodological options, you'll need to consider the following constraints and ask yourself some important questions. Number 1, data access. What data will you need to access to pull off your analysis? And how likely is it that you'll get this access? Also, are there any ethical clearance requirements you'll need from your university? Number 2, time. How much time will you need to undertake interviews or focus groups, in the case of qualitative, or collect a sufficient number of survey responses, in the quantitative, or both? If you're wanting to undertake longitudinal research, what sort of timeline will you need, and will your university allow this? Number 3, money. What financial resources will you need to execute your research design? Will you need to spend money on participation incentives, travel costs, snacks and drinks, meeting facilities, or other services? Number 4, equipment and software. What equipment might you need for collecting data? For example, lab equipment or recording equipment. What software will you need to analyze the data, and how will you get access to this? And lastly, number 5, your knowledge and skills. What is your current level of competence and experience in terms of the data collection and analysis methods you plan to use? And what will you still need to learn? How long will this take? And how confident are you in your ability to acquire the necessary skills? What will your backup plan be if you can't develop the necessary skills? As you can see, there is a wide range of practicalities and constraints that you need to think about when you're deciding on your research design and methodology. As I mentioned, these practicalities create a tension between the ideal methodology and the methodology that you can realistically pull off. This is perfectly normal, and it's your job to find the option that presents the best set of trade-offs. If you carefully consider these 3 factors and design your methodology in a way that strikes a good balance between research rigor and practicality or viability, you'll be headed in a good direction. Remember, you can learn more about the various research design choices, including data collection and analysis methods, over on the Grad Coach blog at gradcoach.com/blog. All right, so that wraps it up for today. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and leave a comment if you have any questions. Also, be sure to subscribe to the Grad Coach channel for more research-related content. If you need a helping hand with your research, remember to check out our private coaching service, where we work with you on a one-on-one basis, chapter by chapter, to help you craft a winning dissertation or thesis. If that sounds interesting to you, book a free consultation with a friendly coach at gradcoach.com. That's all for this episode of Grad Coach TV. Until next time, good luck.
Okay, so that's all for today. Any question? Any questions so far? Perhaps no, maybe you may have some question, no, related to your study or for your research. Perhaps no, if you want to ask, then you can ask it here. Any question? Okay, just for your information, at the end of the at the end of this research methodology, so we have one assignment for you where you are going to present your, for example, like a mock research proposal. Okay, so we would like you to present a mock research proposal, not at the end of the 4 weeks that I'm doing it. So we shall arrange the time. So basically, for my session, I may have only 2 or 3 lectures, and then we will have one whole session for presentation. So therefore, please get prepared for it. So because in the sense that we want you to complete your chapter one, so with a research method, no, I mean sorry, with introduction, with objective research question, etc. Significance of studies, then we have literature review supporting your studies, and the methods, what methods you are going to use, in order, that means to prepare, for your proposal defense. So at the end of this class, so we shall see you, presenting, your, I mean not this class, I mean of this research methodology section. So we shall arrange a time for you to do your presentation. Yeah. So yeah, please be aware of it. Okay, so if there's no question from you, so we shall call it a day. Have a good day and see you again.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.